Hey, what's up, y'all? Y'all good? I hope so. Y'all, let's get into part two of the Million Dollar Demise. And we're about to learn more about Daphne. Remember, that was Nate's girlfriend. So, Daphne was home in her bathroom thinking back to about a month ago when she thought her life was planned out. She remembered flying into Chicago late, renting a car, and heading over to her boyfriend's house to surprise him. She decided to come home early from London because she was missing him. She used her key to let herself in, but as soon as she stepped into the house, things felt off. She couldn't pinpoint it, but things just felt different. She slowly went upstairs because all she wanted to do was turn those girl six phone calls into reality. But when Daphne walked into the bedroom, the moonlight exposed another woman's body in her boyfriend's bed. She walked further into the room because she couldn't believe her eyes. She just knew that it had to be jet lag or something, but as soon as she stood at the foot of the bed, there was most definitely a woman in the bed. Daphne started to walk out of the room, but then Nate sat up and Daphne froze. He was wiping at his eyes, but then he lay back down. She didn't even think he noticed her, and that's what she was hoping when she came back the next day. When she stopped by Nate's house the next day, he gave her a hug. He told her that he liked her new hairstyle and that she looked beautiful. Daphne was willing to let it go and not say anything about what she saw. She convinced herself that it was probably a one-night stand or an old acquaintance that he got with to get his needs met because no man can go without knocking the boots for 2 weeks. But that was until Nate realized that his dream wasn't a dream because he remembered the smell of her new perfume. Daphne asked Nate who was the woman, and he told her his ex-wife. And she told him that if it was just one time, and he promised that it would never happen again, that she would forget it ever happened. And even though Nate was looking like he was considering it, he told Daphne that he still loved Monica and that they needed to end their relationship. Daphne couldn't believe it because she knew Nate loved her, wanted kids with her, and they were planning their future. The rest of her life was written out. It was like a fairy tale. But then it turned into a nightmare when Nate said that he was still in love with his ex-wife. Daphne started gathering the few things she kept at his house and left with tears streaming down her cheeks. She was speeding away from Nate's house. She had to get away from him. And she called the last man she had been intimate with before Nate. His name was Trevor. He was a tall, attractive, brown-skinned man with black, wavy hair and a beautiful smile. And as she thought about it, he looked a lot like Nate. They had been dating for about 2 months, and one day Trevor said that he wanted them to have kids. And Daphne really liked Trevor, and she was okay with that until the next sentence out of his mouth was that he was married and that his wife never wanted kids, but he did. And he thought that he would be able, to deal with that, but he couldn't. So Daphne asked him what did he think was going to happen if she ended up pregnant, and he told her that he didn't know, but he did want a child. But he said that they would figure it out. So Daphne told him to get the heck up out of her house. But that day, when she got her heart broken by Nate, she called Trevor and told him to meet her at her house. She needed to feel wanted and desired. And she wanted everything that Nate had promised her, including a child. And she didn't care what Trevor's wife would think in 9 months. She just knew that she wanted a child. Now, here she is, a month later, looking at this wand sitting on her sink, but she was too afraid to look at it. So she opened the door and passed it to her best friend, Brownie, and told her to read it. You scared to look at it? Girl, give it here. Brownie looked at the test, then at the box, then back at the test and said, Hey, mama, girl, you are preggo. The next morning, Daphne was in her manager's office. She worked at a pharmaceuticals company, and she'd been there for about 5 years. Parker was her manager. He was a real cool dude. He was always smiling, but this time he wasn't smiling. What's up, Parker? You okay? Daphne. Do you remember about 3 months ago when I told you that this branch might close? And I told you that there were 3 positions open in the South Suburban branch and suggested that you transfer into one? And I told you that I told the manager over there to look out for your paperwork. Even though I didn't think that this branch might close, I still wanted my top performers to have a plan. And I asked you to think it over. And Daphne did. She even talked to Nate about it when she got home. And he told her if she didn't want to transfer, then don't. And if they actually closed, she could stay at home if she wanted to and just be a housewife. Or You can find a new job. I know you like to work, but there wouldn't be a rush because we're not hurting for money. So after that conversation, Daphne didn't take the transfer. But now here she is 3 months later, sitting in Parker's office, only to hear him say, I got the finalization today. We are closing, Daphne. Really? Oh my God. Are there still any positions at the South Branch? No. I'm sorry. Those were filled about a month ago. I don't know what to say, and there really isn't much that I can do now. I wish there were. And on top of that, the layoffs are happening by departments, and your department will be closed in 2 weeks. When Daphne got off of work, she went to Brownie's house instead of going home. They'd been friends forever, so she had a key. She'd been laying on the sofa staring up at the ceiling for the longest when she heard Brownie come through the door. Dang, girl, you at my house more than your own. Did you at least cook something? I'm getting fired. What? What are you talking about? Do you remember when I told you that Parker said that our branch might close and that he told me that I should consider one of the 3 positions at the South location? Well, we're closing and there are no longer any positions at the South location. And the only reason why I didn't transfer was because that mother told me not to worry about anything, that I could be a housewife or take my time looking for a job. Now look at this. This is all his fault. Daphne, it's not all his fault. Yes, it is. I can't stand him. Well, I don't agree. Well, if you don't agree with me, then you don't know what you're talking about. Because what am I supposed to do now? Daphne, stop. You are a nurse first. And nurses are never out of work. But I let that license expire 3 years ago. So yes, I do have to worry. Dang, girl. If that's the case, you might be in a little bind, especially now that you're pregnant. So what are you going to do about that? What do you mean what I'm going to do? I'm having my baby. I didn't just get with Trevor because I needed to feel a man. I mainly did it because I wanted a baby. So why would that change? Because you don't have a job. Listen, I'm not even going to worry about that. I'll find a job. Single moms do it every day. But for now, I need to call Trevor and let him know what he's gotten himself into. The next day, Daphne went to the bank where Trevor was the manager. She called him on yesterday and asked if she could visit him on lunch. He was shocked because he hadn't spoken to her in over a month. She never answered any of his calls or text messages, but he agreed to meet with her. Just before going in, she stared at Nate's number in her phone and was thinking about calling him just to see how he was doing in hopes that he had kicked his ex-wife to the curb. And if not, she would tell him that if he think, things not going to work out between him and his ex-wife, he could always call her. But Daphne put the phone in her purse and was like, ain't no going back. And if Nate really wanted her, he would call her. So she went up to Trevor's office and they made a little small talk. Then Daphne told him that the last time they were together that she did get pregnant. And Trevor was elated. He jumped up from his desk, gave her a hug, said he wished he had a cigar and everything. So what do we do next? Well, I think we should just end things right now. I only wanted to tell you about the baby because I feel like that was the right thing to do. But I can take it from here. And you can trust that this baby will be well taken care of. What? No. What do you mean, no? Just like it sounds. No. That's not just your child, Daphne. You can't just cut me out of the baby's life like that. Trevor, you have a wife. Did you forget about the ring on your finger? You weren't worried about this ring when you told me to meet you at your house. I'll work around that. Work around it? Trevor, this baby will not be your dirty little secret. You won't be sneaking around playing daddy over here. You won't use my child like that. Daphne, it's not just your child. It's my child too. Well, right now, I don't really care about that. But hey, why don't you tell your wife the same thing and see what she thinks about all of this? Later on that evening, Daphne and Brownie went to Best Buy to look for a new CD. They walked over to the TVs and Brownie said that 50-inch LCD model is what they needed. Yeah, one more welfare mama with a 50-inch TV on a milk crate. Girl, stop. You are not going to be a statistic. I know, because I made an appointment to get rid of it. What did you just say? I said I'm getting rid of it. It just makes sense. I won't have a job. The child will be a, you know what? And I'm in love with another man. Girl, are you talking about Nate? Yes, I still love him, and my plan is to go to him and tell him that he divorced his wife for a reason and it was the right decision, and I feel like he should come back to me. Girl, you crazy. Tell me you joking. No, I'm serious. Daphne, he's not worth all of that. Well, Brownie, the reason you feel so comfortable saying that is because you have been in a monogamous relationship for 3 years with a man who loves everything about you, baby. You're 32 and still have time to have a baby. Me, on the other hand, I'm 37 and need to get pregnant now. Ding, ding, ding. You are already pregnant. I'm not talking about being pregnant just by anybody. I want to be with a good man, and Nate is a good man. I fell in love with him, and I know he loves me. That's what I want, but I know he's not going to want me or go for me carrying another fool's baby. Oh, so Trevor is a fool now? No, I am. I got pregnant by the wrong guy. That's why I'm getting the procedure and getting my man back. Daphne, I agree. You sound just like a fool because none of this makes any sense. I need to step away from you for a minute before the spirit of ignorance rubs off on me. Daphne watched her best friend, walk away to cool off. And she felt like Brownie didn't understand because her life was dang near perfect. So Daphne decided to just look at the TVs and give Brownie time to cool off. But when she looked up at the TV, she realized she recognized the scene. After she stared at the screen for a minute, she finally realized that it was Nate's house. She tried to call Brownie over, but her voice was barely audible. Then she screamed her name and Brownie came running. Daphne turned up the volume on one of the TVs and she heard the news reporter say, "A horrible encounter occurred here 2 days ago, and only now do we know the names of the victims. Monica Kinney and her ex-husband, Nate Kinney, have both been taken to a local area hospital, but are in critical condition. There are still no suspects, but we'll keep you up to date as we get more information. Tom, back to you." Oh my God, Brownie, it's Nate. I have to see him. I have to see him now. After Daphne saw the news report, she was so distraught that Brownie took her back to her house until she calmed down. Daphne wanted Brownie to call around and find out what hospital Nate was in, but Brownie told her that she couldn't do that because Nate was no longer her responsibility. "I don't care. I still love him." "But he doesn't love you. Did you forget that he told you that? You're free, girl." "I don't want to be free. I want to be with Nate. I need to see him." 2 hours later, Brownie took Daphne home only after she said that she would not try to find Nate. But as soon as Daphne got in that house, she was on the phone calling around Chicago, and she didn't stop until she found what hospital Nate was in. And an hour later, she had made her way to the hospital. She was excited to see Nate, but nervous about his condition. She was walking down the hall, but then she stopped when she saw a man that she thought she recognized. "Tim?" "Daphne, what are you doing here?" "I just heard the news about Nate and I was coming to check on him. Is he all right?" "He's fine. Does he know that you were coming? Have you spoken with him?" "No, I didn't know what condition he was in or if he could talk. Is there a problem?" She could tell by the look on Tim's face that it was an issue, but he said that it wasn't. He just really wished that she had called first. "You're here now, so I might as well walk you down to his room." When they got to the room, Tim knocked and stuck his head in and told Nate that he had a visitor. Nate asked who was it, and Tim mouthed the name Daphne, and she knew he did because she didn't hear him say her name. Nate said it was okay to let her in. Daphne ran over to him and threw her arms around him, and Nate held his breath in agony because it was so painful. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Nate. I didn't mean to. Tim, are you still going to do that for me?" "I could do it later. I could stick around here for a while if you want me to." "Why would I want you to do that?" "Oh, okay." So then Tim left and Daphne and Nate sat down. "Are you okay, Nate?" Hey, 4 fiery hot pieces of metal can't keep old Nate down. "How did all of this happen? Who did this to you?" "I don't know, but the police are looking into it." "Oh, On the news, they said that somebody else was with you and got injured as well. Yeah, my ex-wife. Daphne got quiet and then she asked Nate what happened to them. Listen, don't do that. We're over. There's no need to talk about that. It's good to see you and all, but if you came here looking for an explanation, you can go ahead and leave and not come back. Daphne just sat there staring at Nate, and Nate stared right back at her like, what? Then Daphne said that she was sorry and that she wouldn't mention it again. Daphne went over and gave Nate a kiss on the cheek and told him if he needed anything at all, he could call her. But before walking out the door, she asked Nate which room his ex-wife was in because she wanted to say hi. But Nate let her know that she was in a coma. And Daphne said that she was sorry to hear that. But little did Nate know, Daphne was only asking to see if Nate would actually allow her to speak with Monica. But she didn't need him to give her the room number because she got Monica's room number when she got his. So she went on down to Monica's room. She stood beside her bed, and as Monica lay there peacefully, she could tell that Monica was a very beautiful woman. Daphne felt sorry for her because they didn't know if she'd ever wake up or what condition she was going to be in. Daphne was tempted to take a look at Monica's chart, but she didn't. She just stood there a little longer, just thinking about the fact that no one had entered her room and nobody was monitoring it. And she made note of that. Then she left. Hey, that's the catch up on Daphne, y'all. We done caught up on her. Let me know what you think. Do you think Daphne gonna be a problem? Or do you think Nate gonna be a problem for Daphne? Get down in the comments. Let's talk about it. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. And I'll talk to y'all later.